All right. Good morning, guys. Turn on your cameras. Say hello to us. Don't be shy. Good morning, Rick.
Morning.
Good to see you. Where are you at, Rick?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. There you go. Aaron's backyard. Brad, good
Right
morning.
up the street from Aaron.
There you go. Shelly, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So keep letting people in here. We'll get started here pretty quick, and then we'll let people kind of catch up as we go. Here they come. So, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being on. Turn on your cameras if you can. It's always good to see everybody. The more you can participate, the better this is for all of us. We can all learn from you. You can learn from us. All in this thing together here. So, Kristen, good morning. Muted there, but there you are. How are you? You're muted. We can't hear you, but I can see you. So,
good morning. Sorry, I was still on mute.
oh, there you go. You're good. You're good. So, guys, let's go ahead and get started. There'll be people continuing to come in here. You know, it's about 9:01, so I want to respect you guys who are here on time. If you are a guest with us, definitely welcome. This is something we do every Tuesday, part of Freedom Team here at EXP. We call ourselves a team. We're a team in the sense we're working together. We're not your traditional real estate team, like what most of us are used to. I had a team for a long time. I've got a modern team here with EXP, which is Freedom Team. We're all part of that. So anyway, but if you're a guest, you're always welcome. We don't talk EXP at all. This is just strictly content to help you with your business and help you, do more transactions. Obviously, we're going through a shift right now all across the country. We're all feeling that in some ways. Production is definitely, down to some degree, whatever, but there's still a lot of good things happening. So there will be some agents weeded out in this process. I'm sure it happens in these shifts. But it's a way for you guys, I think the ones that really want to go for this, to really, increase your business and grow your business and capture market share. There's a lot of things that can happen in a market like this. So my biggest years, I've done this 20 years now, Colorado Springs, and my biggest years in real estate were between 2009 and 2011. If I look back on my numbers and stuff, I mean, they were harder deals, a lot of short sales, all that kind of stuff. But man, we were busier than we've ever been. Those were our peak years. One of the things that got me off to a big start at the beginning, because for those of you who don't know, I mean, 6 months after I got licensed, January 2002 is when I started real estate. 6 months into that, I went to a conference and joined a coaching program. That's where I met Aaron. We were part of that coaching program together, and in that same class, and Craig Proctor, and he had a lot of different, talked about ways to set yourself apart. And how important that is, because like for us, a lot of you guys, all our markets are different. We got 4,000 plus agents here in Colorado Springs. Aaron, what do you guys have down there in Dallas? I mean,
66,000 or some
66,000. So why should they hire Aaron out of the other 65,999 agents? Like what do you do to make yourself, really stand out? What makes you different? And so let me share my screen here for just a second. I think, a little bit of a different conversation. You need to have a USP. You need to come up with a unique selling proposition. Now, that's more for marketing, but I want you guys to just start. Here's what I'm hoping this does between Aaron and I, kind of going back and forth, some of these different things that we've done and learned over the years. Aaron's used a lot more of these than I have, so he'll be doing the bulk of this, but we can all kind of chime in. What makes you different? What sets you apart? It can't just be, I'm a great realtor. Watch your muting if you can. Let's see. There we go. I'll mute Rick. Just keep that in mind, guys. Mute yourself. Definitely you can ask questions here along the way. Unmute yourself. But what makes you different? What makes you stand out? Why should somebody hire you? And it can't just because I give great service. Like nobody cares about that. Like, what do the buyers care about? What do the sellers care about? How do I make myself really stand out in the crowd? Why should a seller list with you? Why should a buyer buy with me? So I think part of the goal of this whole thing for the next hour is to just get you guys thinking outside the box. You do not have to do any of these things we're talking about. Several weeks ago, we had a really good mastermind on here. Lee Garland, great agent, did a whole hour on the guaranteed sale program, which Aaron and I have both used. Your home sold guaranteed, or we'll buy it. Okay. Now he went through a great training on that. And when I saw that, I mean, it really, because I'd done it before, whatever. One of the things that got me right immediately afterwards, I think I reached out to Aaron. I'm like, we should do kind of a part 2 to this. Number one, I think explaining some of the details of how that can be set up to where it's very little risk for you as the realtor. Because I know there's a lot of people on here that, like, I'll be honest, I started that program 6 months after I got my license. I came back from that first conference and Aaron was there and I started that program. I was scared about it, but I understood the parameters of how I could make it work because it's my program. I can set the rules on my program and I can set it to where, I need to be ready to act on that program if I need to. But if I set it up right, it's probably going to be very, very, very rare that I ever need to go through with actually buying a house. Okay. Now I could buy a house and that'd be a great testimonial and that'd be a great marketing tool. And I would need to be ready to buy a house if in fact the parameters all came through and it came down where, that was the program. And now I need to come up, put my money where my mouth is. I need to be ready to do that. Okay. And there's ways to do that right now, but there's lots of ways you can set up these different guarantees to really protect yourself, but even to bring in more business as a result of it. That's what's going to happen with this. So, Aaron, why don't you share your screen here and let's start going into this. Do you want to add anything to anything that I've said so far? I mean, I think it's just important, lots of ways to stand out and we need to do that in this market.
Yeah, I think first I'm going to apologize for my voice. That's what happens when you spend a week in Vegas, I guess. First, apologies there, but on the unique selling proposition, there's a couple of ways you can utilize it. You can utilize it to market with, which is extremely strong, or you can utilize it to close a deal, like close a seller or close a buyer when you couldn't close them any other way. But I think a unique selling proposition always is going to be more beneficial for you than a tagline. When I first got in, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. They were trying to make rhymes with my last name. And, I just didn't feel authentic or right. It didn't offer any benefit or, what the consumer really wants, which is what's in it for me. So what did my tagline make them feel like, hey, you're going to do this extra for me because you have this fancy little saying that rhymes with your name, so I see that a lot in the marketplace. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're spending a ton of money advertising something that will get them nothing. It's a good way to remember you, I guess, but that's about as far as it goes. I'd rather be remembered for something that I provide to the community or to my buyers or sellers that they won't forget, or sets me apart when we're getting into that market where there's going to be 2, 3, 10 homes on the same street available for sale. How do you make them show your home before they show somebody else's, right? Or how do you set your seller apart? So I put together a little PowerPoint here. Let me find it. You just had it, Jeff.
So guys, while he's doing this, be taking notes on this stuff and just any questions that you have, you can put them in the chat box. We'll get back to them. We could pause along the way here and take some questions, but I want to be able to get through some of these different ideas. Just there's going to be lots of ideas thrown out here, some of which will resonate with you, some be like that. I just don't see myself doing, but I would tell you there's lots of ways to work these and create your own guarantees. You could duplicate a lot of these and they won't cost you money. They'll just bring you business. They will get buyers to sign with you and sellers to sign with you above and beyond the other 5 agents that they're interviewing. So, Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll post this. You guys can rip it off and use it for whatever you want. Or if you want the hard word files that I have the guarantees actually printed in, I can send those as well too. But we'll start with the buyer side first. I think the buyer side's the easiest one, because I believe people take the buyer side for granted and they don't set themselves apart. They just go show homes, they get a call. Hey, I want to see 123 Main Street, and they're out the door, right? We never do that. We meet with everybody first, show them what makes us different, what makes us a professional versus just somebody that can open the door. We, in the real estate industry, we're oftentimes commoditized because we do not tell people what we do. I think we were having a conversation with somebody in Vegas this last week. on this very topic is they were like, well, well, what do you actually do that I don't do? And I said, nothing. Realistically, I don't do anything you don't do. But I just tell everybody I do it, when I'm sitting down with them. So one of the things we do that maybe is a little different is we have this, what we call our love it or leave it guarantee, which is basically we will buy back a house or sell it for free within 12 months of somebody purchasing it. This is just a little spin on the guaranteed sale program. Basically, we set all the rules, and that's one thing when you're doing a guarantee, make sure the rules fit for you comfortably. It could be you're not going to buy it back for full price. You're going to buy it back for 90% of market value or 95%. I don't know what you did, Jeff, but I always did on the guaranteed sale. I'd buy it at 95% of the market value. I am the one that determines market value based on comps with them right in front of them. And then, I still get paid when we do a guaranteed sale program like this. We'll get into that on the seller side. I do a 7% commission. They have to pay me 7% if I'm doing a guaranteed sale. So realistically, I'm getting the home 12% off. Okay. Plus they have to buy another one of my homes that's listed. So I'm getting 6% on that side. So I'm getting that home technically 18 to 24% off. Not bad. I've bought one home from the guaranteed sale for $72,000 about 10 years ago. I still own it as a rental property. So that one's done pretty well. It's worth about 300 right now. So home warranty, we do a home warranty.
Let me hit a practical thing here real quick, Aaron, with the buyer guarantee. Okay. So let's say you get a buyer lead, buyer lead comes in, we want to try and call them, right? But they're looking on, 5 different realtors' websites. They're getting calls from realtors. Sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't, whatever. I can't tell you how many times I would get on the phone and, I'd get somebody. Now we're talking, trying to get through, what are you looking to do? And you're looking to make a move in the next few months and all this kind of stuff. Could I set you up on a home search kind of thing, whatever? Oh, no, I'm already getting homes from 5 other realtors. I'm good. Here's one way that I would get in the door. It'd be like this. Well, real quick, before you go, I don't know what the other realtors are offering you. I will tell you this, a couple of things I would say. And again, I'm doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, but because I'm explaining some of this, it's all of a sudden it creates some doubt in that buyer's mind. So I would let them know, well, I don't know what the other realtors are sending you. Just so you know, our search includes all the pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, short sales, divorce sales, all the distressed properties, in addition to corporate sales, in addition to every other home that's out there. Would that be helpful for you? Oh, wow. Okay. Now I'm probably going to send them the same things, but I'm just explaining to them. I want to just at least get my foot in the door, because again, who's going to win them over? Now, the other thing then would be this, just so you know, I think we're the only ones in town that offer a buyer guarantee. Any home you buy with us, if you use us to do it, if you're not happy in that home for any reason, for the first 18 months you're there, that's what we did, was an 18-month. You could do 12, you could do 6, you could do 24. It's up to you. It's your program. If you're not happy with that home for any reason over the next 18 months after you move into the house, we will either buy the house back from you or sell it for free so that you could move on and find the house that you want to buy. So it takes all the risk away from you from buying the home. We've got your back if you get in there and, oh, wow, we really needed another bedroom on the main level. We need another bedroom. The bedrooms are too small. It's too far of a drive to work, our commute, any number, any reason. We know there's some stipulations in there, and I'll go through that in a minute. But again, what would that do? The buyers will be like, oh, wow. Okay. I've never heard of that before. Sure. I'm looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, whatever. You're getting yourself in the door. And this was one way to do it, was having this guarantee. Now we'll break down this guarantee again, very little risk for you, no risk for you with this guarantee. And we'll show you how to do that. So go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. So, that's basically, he calls it his buyer performance guarantee. I call it a love it or leave it guarantee. When we talking to people, it's we explain, it's kind of like the lemon law for a car. There is no such thing for a home. Every other agent you're going to use will not offer you this. So you want to put 100% trust in the person that you're working with, or you think you're going to work with, without any of the cost on their behalf. So they don't have any pain if they make the wrong decision or put you in the wrong home. We also do a home warranty. This is becoming more and more popular the last 3 or 4 years. We got stung on this a little bit because of, you had to remove this in order to, get a home accepted. So, but that's no big deal. We charge on all of our transactions a $395 transaction fee. Home warranty cost was about the same, so it was a wash if we did have to buy it. And basically what we're telling them is we'll negotiate a home warranty from the seller, paid for you for a year of coverage, and we explain the benefits of a home warranty. If we can't do that, we will buy it for you. So pretty simple, easy guarantee anybody can do. Pretty cost-effective one to do as well too. It's only, $400 or $500. I would always trade $400 or $500 for $10,000 if I'm set apart, right? Our average price in our area, it's about $370,000. That's about just a little bit over a $10,000 commission. So I would always trade $500 for $10,000 to set me apart, or for them to use me versus somebody else. And then we always offer a cancellation guarantee, just basically saying, yeah, we offer all this stuff. It's all great, but we may not get along and you may want to cancel at some point. You can do so at any time. Right. So pretty simple, pretty easy. We also have used this in the past. We may start doing this again. This is a great one to market with when the market is kind of falling a little bit. Basically, you're guaranteeing a buyer that you'll save them $5,000 off the list price of the home, or you'll pay them $1,000 at closing. Now you'll notice there's conditions in here that they have to do. They have to obtain pre-approval within 5 days. Why is this beneficial? Well, in order to get this $1,000 in their pocket guarantee, or $5,000 off the list price, I know I'm working with a guaranteed buyer that's going to be able to buy. List price of the home has to be at least $250. You pay me no fees for my services, except for our transaction fee. Offer applies to new business only, must be owner occupied, so that a lot of times, people are wanting to do this and it's a bank foreclosure and it's already drastically reduced. Well, it doesn't apply to that. It's got to be an owner occupied home. Offer does not apply to properties listed by the Kinn team. So I can't offer this on my own listings, right? So if I had a listing out there and then I had a buyer call me on this and they're like, oh, you've got this guarantee. Well, that's kind of putting both people in a risky situation, including myself legally. So it's spelled right up front. Money can be used for closing costs, home repairs, home improvements. We can do it as part of the closing costs. That's what we do, or we just take it off our commission. Your initial offer must be at least $5,000 under the list price. And then of course, just spells out what they get if we don't get them a $5,000 discount. Again, I'm always willing to trade $1,000 for $10,000, right? And you can change this amount. This $5,000 could be $10,000. It could be $2,500. It could be $1,000. You could match them up. But, when the market was really bad back in like 2010, 11, 12, we used a $10,000 or $5,000 guarantee because we knew we could save them $10,000, right? Because the market was terrible. So
let me throw in something here, because the very last part of this, and I want people to see this, is again, you're not paying this fee until closing. So it's not like you're writing them a check. It's just, at closing, whatever, right, Aaron, this is how you do it. This is how we did it.
Yep. It's all, exactly. There's no check. I don't ever write them a check. I always looked at business this way. If I'm using this like a loss leader, it's kind of like Walmart sells CDs for less. Well, CDs, they don't sell CDs anymore, but this is my old analogy. So they sell CDs for less than they actually bought them for, so they could get people in the store and they'd buy more stuff. Same thing. If I sent you a referral, Jeff, would you pay me a 25% referral fee?
Yes.
So you'd pay me $2,500 on a $10,000 commission?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you pay yourself? But give yourself $1,000 away to get $9,000 in net commission, right? It's just a mindset shift a lot of people haven't thought about.
Right. Let me ask real quick, Kevin, you got your hand raised. Do you have a question? You want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
Of course, these all sound really good, but, as agents, to put this out there as opposed to being, because we are representing the brokerage, how do you go about that with EXP? Because I'm just an agent, I can be putting stuff out there willy-nilly. And of course, EXP is on the hook for anything that I promise because they are my broker. Secondly, does this violate any ethics? Third, I have 3 questions. Third, can you post something like this on social media as advertising?
First, I haven't had any issue with this. I've been running it for 20 years with multiple brokerages and then my own brokerage. So I'm with EXP as well. So I've done this with EXP, Keller Williams, and Prudential, and never had an issue with any of the companies. 2, as far as an ethics concern, I don't think it's unethical at all because you're actually giving a benefit to your consumer. Why, would that be an ethics violation? It's kind of like a guarantee or a warranty on a box, of anything that you buy. When a roofer replaces your roof and they give you a year's workmanship guarantee or warranty, that's not unethical. That's them providing you more service for the same price that you would pay anyways. And the third one was, can you advertise it on social media? I wouldn't see why not. I put this in, especially the seller one. When I'm marketing properties, I'd buy this home and I'll buy your home for cash. So I market that on the sign with the EXP sign in Zillow, all the other places.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, again, any of these kind of things that you could definitely run these by like an attorney in your state, talk to your broker in your state. I mean, I'm the same as Aaron. I'm in Colorado. I've run all these kind of things. I've never had an issue between, independent brokerages I've been with and Keller Williams and EXP. And I've never had an issue with any of it in 20 years either. So, but but certainly run it by, whoever you would need to. So.
Yeah. And for sure, if you have that concern, I would definitely run it by your state broker, whoever that is. But I know there's a multitude of people using these, not just with EXP, with multiple companies out there, and using them very successfully. So that's basically the buyer stuff. The buyer stuff's pretty easy, home warranty, love it or leave it, and a pricing, savings guarantee basically.
Before you move on, Aaron, let me share as far as let me share my screen for just a minute.
Sure.
I'm going to go into here. Let me go into the buyer. Where is it? This was our buyer guarantee that we had. So, oops, sorry. Right here. So, and again, I can upload these. We'll upload these into Freedom Team. So again, if you decide to sell the home you purchased through the Jeff Morrell home selling team within 18 months of the date you closed escrow, and the team acted as either the listing agent or the selling agent in the home purchase, we will, number 1, offer to buy back your home for your current market value as determined by closed sales for comparable homes occurring within the last 90 days, or offer to sell the home for free, waiving our normal commission charges. So here's the way this worked. And this is what normally happened. And we'll go into the guaranteed sale program here in a minute. So that was one possibility. Okay. We could list their home, we would buy their home so they could buy the next home. I never had to do that. Okay. Here's what normally happened was the sell for free. If they qualified for this, now let's say they're getting transferred out of town for a job, they don't qualify. They have to be buying another home and using our team to do that. Okay. I will put a 0 commission on the sell side for me, on the listing side for me. But right here, you see this. However, you will be responsible for paying a 3% brokerage fee to the selling agent, including Jeff Morrell or one of his sales agents who brings an acceptable offer to purchase the home. We're still going to have 3% that we're going to pay the other agent. And that's what we do here. Now it might be 2.5 or whatever you want to do on that side. That's up to you. We would do 3%. We're going to list that in the MLS. We're paying the buyer's agent, transaction broker, whatever, 3%. I'm going to do 0. The listing agreement is going to say 3% on it. I get 0. The other agent gets 3. However, they have to be buying another home with me. So I'm still going to get paid. They're going to be buying another home and I'm going to get the commission on that home that they're buying. And again, we have our buyer agency agreement where I'm going to get paid 3% on that home. Does that make sense? I'm still making money. I'm not out money. It's not costing me to do this program. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully so. Aaron, anything you want to add to that? Go ahead.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I know there's a brokerage in our area, like Rick and I are in the exact same market, right? And there's a brokerage here that they will list and sell your home for free as long as you're buying another home with them, right? So, buy a
That's how
home
they
and
market.
they will
They market
sell
that,
your
right?
home for
Yeah.
free. That's exactly what this is, right? So they created an entire brokerage model around that offer, and it works very, very well. Now, they may have been hurt a little bit in this recent market because of homes were selling so fast. They probably couldn't find some of those buyers' homes, so they were carrying some costs there. But still, it's a very good way to set yourself apart and get more income, more listings on the marketplace.
Definitely. So, any questions out of that buyer guarantee?
Yeah, quick question.
Go ahead.
How do you handle somebody that's relocating to a market outside of your local market, another state?
Right. So they wouldn't qualify for that. And again, this is all spelled out. Like
You
when
can
I
call it
meet
out.
them,
Okay.
like when I meet them, like we're signing a buyer agency, they're going to start working with me. I throw this in. They know the conditions of this program right up front. I'm not going to, come back around the back and, oh, well, sorry, we're not going to do it. They know right up front that they won't qualify. But so I'm going to list their home the normal way, whatever. I would still probably do a referral, and get a referral on that end. I might play with that a little bit if I needed to. I'm going to work with them and try and help them get out. If I can get a referral on the other end and cover some of that, I might reduce my listing commission on that, to work with them a little bit. But yeah, they would not qualify for that exact guarantee if they're moving out of state, for whatever reason, military move or anything. They have to be buying another home with me. And again, let me just say, it was very rare. I mean, I could probably count on one hand the number of times that actually happened. Most people, they're happy getting in the home that they buy. It was very rare that somebody made a move. But it brought me so much more business because I would market with that. And all of a sudden, I'm setting myself up apart. And I was ready to do that if I needed to. But it was, I mean, probably in 20 years, I bet I've done that probably less than 5 times. I mean, seriously. Aaron, I don't know, do you have any other?
Yeah, I've offered it 3 times.
3 times?
Same,
We actually had to
same
do it?
rules,
Yeah.
Same rules. They got to be buying another house in our area, so they can't go out and buy a house somewhere else. I have to be helping them to buy the home, or they can't sell that house and then go into a rental or something like that. It's got to be another purchase tied to it.
Definitely.
And if you explain it, hey, I'm not in the business of doing everything for free or buying everybody's house, it would be impossible for me to do that and still profit, right? But this is a way that it does give you a little bit more comfortability in what you're purchasing. I was told from the more risk you can take for the buyer or for the seller, and the less risk they have, risk reversal, the easier it is going to be to choose you to help them versus someone else, right? So take as much of the risk as you possibly can and that you feel comfortable with so they don't have to take it. Because putting your home on the market with someone you really don't know is a big deal. Now, do you present this to people that already know, like, and trust you? Absolutely. Right. I've had people that have been referred to me and I didn't do a normal presentation. And guess what? They went with someone else because I didn't actually do the right thing and do a full presentation like I should. So my best friend, he has to sit down through the presentation. He sold 6 homes with me. He's like, okay, I get it. Nope, you're going to sit down through the whole thing. Right. Because I don't want him. Somebody
to choose somebody else. And I think in this market, guys, that's the thing. Sellers right now, they are going to be interviewing other agents. They could be a referral. They could be a great friend. They could be a next door neighbor. They are going to interview other agents because, again, there's a lot of concern in this market and people reading the headlines and all this kind of stuff. So don't just assume that you've automatically got the listing because it's a great friend at church. Next thing you know, you drive by and there's a sign out front. Oh, shoot, what happened? Well, you assumed on it. It's like they're going to be shopping around. So, here's some ways to, again, make yourself really stand out to where there's no way they can't work with you. So go ahead, Aaron. You want to share that?
Yeah, I was going to go back into my presentation here because we're talking about sellers, so we can just
Definitely
do this. So one thing that we've done is we do what we called our Head Start program. This is realistically, it's nothing. It basically is giving them extras like a dinner certificate. Sorry, my neighbor's getting his lawn cut, so I apologize for noise. He gets a $500 off commission coupon, $100 of a service person of their choice. So if he wants to do a pre-inspection or give out a home warranty or what have you. But this is if we're sitting down at the table and they're not ready to go yet. Like they're like, oh, we're going to wait like 2 or 3 more months. Well, I want them to get something in their head that, hey, there's going to be a benefit for using Aaron outside the other stuff we already went on, and we've used this quite a bit to where they sign this. We give them a copy, we give them, the $50, and then we're constantly dripping on them, to get them to utilize us when they do decide to list the house. We've already got paperwork, right? So that one's fairly simple. This is our flexible real estate commission plan. We utilize this on every single home. Again, most people, they're like, oh, 6%, they're afraid to tell a commission. I'm right up front. We do a lot. I've, just done the full dog and pony show with the whole, presentation. We've done, gone over comps. We get into commission. Commission's very simple. It's 6%. If you utilize us and another brokerage sells your home, if we're the one that sells your house, meaning my team, it's 5%, 4% if they don't have any representation. This would most likely cases would be like an investor or something like that. 2% if they sell the home on their own to their own buyer. I've had this happen multiple times. You would never think that they would go out and sell the home themselves, but they do. And the way I preface it is, hey, I want you to have the flexibility in a commission structure where you can get in as little as 0% commission. And I advertise this, commissions as low as 0%. Good luck competing with me, because you don't know how I have my program structured. How do they get 0%? Well, the only way they get 0% is they find their own buyer and cancel the transaction. I won't charge them anything at all. That's number 5. But if they want me to do the paperwork, I'll do it for 2%. And I'll even tell them at that point, we can negotiate and do it for 1% for each party. So one, you have all the right paperwork. It's all legal. We get you with the correct title companies, so on and so forth, right? This is a no-brainer. Everybody should be using a flexible commission structure. It's not necessarily a guarantee, but it is something that helps set you apart in the marketplace, especially if they're interviewing more than one agent. And then they'll ask you, how many times do you sell your own home? Well, the market average, you need to look this up in your area, but in our area, Rick can justify me here, is like 1.9% is when the listing agent is also the buyer's agent. It's very, very small. So if you're anything above that, if you're at 5%, oh, I'm 3 times the market average. If you're at 12%, oh, I'm 4 or 5 times the market. So you can kind of just keep, building this and how much more beneficial this is to them, right? And then this, of course, is beneficial. I don't know how many sellers I've sold, 1,000 plus. I've had probably 8 to 10 that have actually sold their own home. One, they were looking through one of those real estate magazines in the grocery store, and she saw somebody do it, and she says, hey, I got a home for sale. You want to come see it? They went and saw it. They loved it. They bought the house. We did it for 1% commission on each side. Both parties were extremely happy. And I've got multiple referrals from that seller that we did that because they saved 4% on a $400,000 house. So,
any questions on that right there? That's a good program as well. That's one that we've used also. Any questions on how that would work? Does that make sense? Again, just spelling it out in something like this and just giving them, again, if you find the buyer on your own, like I'll walk away. We'll walk away and we'll call it a day. If you want me to I did it for the 1% as well. You're doing it for 2. I did it for 1. I said, if you want me to do the paperwork, I'll do it for 1%.
And we're going to walk away anyways. We have a full cancellation guarantee anyways. We used to do a cancellation guarantee and then charge them our transaction fee. But we actually eliminated that because we had so few that canceled. And it was so contentious when we tried to charge them if they did want to leave that it wasn't worth the fight for $395. So
Yeah.
we let them walk away no matter what we've spent on their listing.
Cool.
All right. Next one. This is the 60 days or 1% back. Now, again, the 60 days is obligatory. You can utilize whatever amount of days you want to use. I would say do something that's a little greater than what the market is currently sitting at. Like if your market's at 35 days, maybe do a 45-day, something like that, where you can realistically sell that home within that amount of time. So you're not giving up 1 full percent. But again, it's totally up to you how you want to structure this. I like to say that this is my board game. I just created all the rules, right? So I create all the rules that work for me, right? And they're going to work for the seller too. Like if I sell the home on the 61st day, they would get 1% off, right? They do have to sign a 6-month agreement. You know, there is no, cancellation, and then they get the, 1%. It's impossible, right? So if they cancel, this goes away, right? So this is pretty easy one to utilize. This was a no-brainer to utilize the last 3 years, if you use something like this, because you're going to sell the home in 2 or 3 days, let alone 20 or 30, right? But again, the more no-brainer the form gets or the guarantee gets, the less likely you are to use it, right? Like we didn't use this the last few years because it didn't work. It's not, the market is much faster in 60 days. Even people not in real estate knew that, right?
It's important to think like the message to market match,
Yeah.
I mean, so but again, right now, like this kind of stuff is coming back into play, because the market's shifted pretty rapidly. I mean, it's becoming more and more of a buyer's market, and what do sellers want? They want the most money for the house and then want it sold as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So if you can think about how can I come up with different marketing things and guarantees and stuff that helps meet those seller needs, like this one, that one that he just showed you right there, like that's the thing. What do buyers want? They want the best price, on the house. They want the lowest, monthly payment in that sense. They want the best price on the house and they want to get in there. They want the right house. So how can I help them with that? And
I've
market to
utilized
it?
in the past, and I couldn't find it for this, so I apologize. But I had a form where it was basically your home sold in like, I think it was 27 days, or we'll sell it for free. Like no commission charged on our end. We still have to pay the buyer, but there was a lot of hoops they had to jump through. They had to list it at our price. They had to automatically reduce it, after 10 days on the market and after 20 days on the market at a predetermined percentage. They had to have the home professionally staged. They had to allow us to take professional photos and 3D Matterport tours. All of those things had to occur, and they had to not cancel or turn anybody away from showing the house. Because I was doing a 27-day guarantee, or I'm giving up all my fee. You have to be on the other end working with me. So if you cancel a showing, that cancels our agreement, right? So, and we spell it all out front. I couldn't find it, so I apologize, but that is basically it.
Yeah.
This is the guaranteed sale program, probably the most audacious guarantee, one that I'm sure many of you have seen marketed. This is one that set Craig Proctor apart in his market. I think he's actually created a brokerage now that's under that name, Your Home Sold Guaranteed or something like that. But it's basically solving the catch-22 in real estate. Do you sell first, buy first? Do I buy first or sell first? So we put it right into our presentation. We've utilized this all the way through. I started using it, I think, 2 or 3 years after I first heard about it, because I'm a chicken, unlike Jeff. So I didn't utilize it right away. But it basically is, if you have this home for sale and you want to buy this home, it has to be one of our listings. We will make a cash offer on your property. Now, again, you set the rules. I was buying at 95% of market price. They had to buy one of my listings, had to pay me a 7% listing commission. Even if I bought it, if we sold it to another buyer higher than my purchase price, we'd rip up our contract and it was no longer valid. Once that contract's ripped up, you don't get another one. So if Joe Blow comes in and offers them more than I was offering them, we ripped up our contract and Joe Blow walked away because of inspection. I was not back out on the hook on that contract again. But as far as marketing, it's great to market with. You can put it on your signage. You can put it in the MLS, or not in MLS, but Zillow, places like that. And then the biggest statement here, where there were two. One is you're going to be able to market to 100% of the buyers in the area, not just 30%. Because 70% of the buyers in our area own a home already. Only 30% are first-time home buyers. And then the further you go up the scale as far as a property they're purchasing, the more this number gets bigger and bigger. So would you want to advertise just to 30% of the home buyers, Mr. Seller? Would you like to advertise to 100%? Which one do you want to do? Because every other agent's only marketing to those that don't have a home or a contingency to deal with, right? They'd often say, well, we can't find another listing that you have. And I was like, yeah, because I only got 2 of them, and they're both under your house. So it doesn't work. But it's still going to work for you because we'll put it on your sign, buy this home, we'll buy yours for cash. So it's a great buyer attractor. So when there's 5 homes on the street that are for sale and mine says I will buy another buyer's home to, if they want to buy this one, who are they calling first? Mine or Remax down the street or whoever else, right? They're going to call me first every single time. And I know it's a fact because we've had many that have done this, right? That one's a big one. Any questions on that? I know there was already a training on that, so I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on that.
I do want to go over, we can go over, let me go over the rules real quick.
Yeah.
As far as this, now again, these were our rules. You might have different rules. I think our rules were pretty similar. And let me just share my screen here again.
Yep.
So see if this makes sense. So again, Lee Garland, if you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. Really good training. Okay. This was how we set up our guaranteed sale. I go in and meet with the sellers, right? They've met with 4 other agents. I'm usually the last one in. I try and get in. I'm hitting all these different guarantees, things we're going to do. The guaranteed sale rules, the seller must be moving up and buying one of my listings. Now, again, back in the day, I mean, I was typically carrying our team. We typically carried about 20 listings, but there's been times too, like right now, I mean, it's like, 3 or 4 listings, 5 listings, well, there's no homes that I have listed that they want to buy, yes, but you can still get the advantages of this program because we're going to market your home in this way. There's going to be a sign out front that says, I'll buy your home so you can buy this one. So now we're opening up to every buyer out there. So you're going to get the reverse effects of this guarantee. Does that make sense? And that would make sense. So they've still got the benefits of this. They're just I'm not going to buy their house. They have to be moving up into one of my listings. I had a maximum list price that would qualify as $350,000. Okay. And you kind of do whatever, like, what's the market average for where you are? Back in the day, there was a time when this was $250, whatever, because our prices have come up, obviously. So that price has gone up a little bit too. You fix the time period. Your home sold in 60 days, or I'll buy it 90 days, 120 days. I've done all of them, depending on the conditions of the market. Okay. And that time period starts when the seller has a signed contract to purchase one of my listings. If they go look at one of my listings, whatever, they're ready, that's the home they want to buy. Okay, then that's when that guaranteed sale time period starts. Now, from that day on, now we've got 90 days to get their home sold. My purchase price, 95% of the listing price. Okay, so for example, if the agreed listing price, which again, I've got the comps, we're going to come up with, here's the price we're going to list the house at. We agree on that. But again, if they don't agree with that price, then that's fine. The guarantee doesn't work. We can still list your house. But I'm going to come up with that price and set that price. So $350,000, let's say my purchase price is going to be 95% of that, $332,500. Now, one of the key things, we're going to have automatic price adjustments in there. I did it every 14 days. You could do it every 10 days, every 7 days, every 20 days, whatever you want to do. But we had guaranteed drops. And this is all spelled out in the agreement. We would put in the price and they would initial by that. So I didn't have to call them for price adjustments. This was all just spelled out and they agreed. Now, again, here's my old one from my days in Keller Williams. This is an 89-day guarantee I did. All this is in here. Right here, there's the $350,000. Over here on the right, here's the 5 different price drops we're going to have leading up to those 90 days. Okay, it's all spelled out. And again, I will upload all this document and stuff to you guys. Again, the sellers don't have to agree. We can still list the home and offer other guarantees. The guaranteed sale will still work for them as we'll buy somebody else's home so they can buy the seller's home. So 95, 98% of the time when I got in the door for that listing presentation, I was going to walk out with a signed listing agreement because of these different things that were in place. So was yours similar to that, Aaron?
Yeah, very similar, just almost identical.
Yeah. So Kevin, you have a question. What question do you have?
I'm sorry I asked so many questions.
No, you're good. That's okay.
You know, this is a lot of illegal. I come from New Jersey. So right now I moved to California. New Jersey, very litigious state where people sue everybody for everything. Now I moved to California where I don't know what they do. So, but the important thing is that there's a lot of legal gymnastics that's happening in those contracts, and I'm concerned about them. So, should a lawyer? I mean, have you run your contracts by lawyers and been approved by lawyers and reworded by lawyers? You have. Okay.
Yes. And I wouldn't share you my contract because it's in Texas, and so it's not going to work in California. You definitely, especially on this one, because there is a purchase tied to this. You definitely want this in front of an attorney.
So one more thing. Do you get a lot of pushback from people saying, well, I don't know if I really want to sign that because, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting a call. So hopefully you can still hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, you know, do you get pushbacks from during your presentation when you're about to get the signature, or you're not getting the signature, and you pull this out of your portfolio and you say, well, you know, have I shown you this? Has anybody else offered you this? And you take them through that. You know, what kind of pushback do you get from potential sellers?
This isn't one I pull out. This is one that's in every presentation. So
okay, it's in your packet.
This is in I do a PowerPoint on every listing and buyer, really, but yeah, this is in every presentation. It's in my seller presentation. Now I'll get to a couple that I have that I pull out if I can't get them to sign. One of those was the advanced, you know, listing. And then I got a few more I've got here that will help you too, I think. The
thing I think to remember with any of these, like, again, many times they're not going to qualify for whatever reason, you know, but there's a lot of reverse benefits of this as well. Again, so like they're moving out of state, they're not buying one of my homes. Well, you don't qualify for the guaranteed sale program. I'm not going to buy your house if it doesn't sell in this X number of days. However, you know, the sign out front is going to have a rider across the top. Buy this home and I'll buy yours. You know, you're still going to get the benefits of this program because I'm going to market your house with this program. I'm going to buy, if they need to move up, they're moving up. You know, your home is listed for, you know, whatever, $450 or something. You know, it's a move up price. You know, I'm going to buy that home so they can buy this one. So you're still going to get the benefits on the back end of what we're doing.
And I've always used, you know, like people talk about weasel clauses and all that stuff. My only clause on this when I marketed with it was we had to agree on price. That was the number one thing we had to agree on is price. Well, if you are not moving up and buying one of my listings, my price is going to be a lot lower than if you are, right? I'll still buy your house, but it's going to be advantageous for me at that point. And because I'm taking 100% of the risk, right? So most people don't ever want that number, right? They want you to sell their home. This is a way, and that's what I talk to them about. This is an extra arrow in your quiver that we can market your home with, right? I can put it on your signage. I can market it to potential buyers that have a home to sell. It's just an extra way. And I get agents, you know, sometimes call and they say, hey, we see this, you'll buy the buyer's home if, you know, they buy yours. And I said, if that buyer is represented by me as well. So it's not going to work for your buyer. And I don't want to steal your buyer from you, but that's how it operates. So we do have that pushback some too.
Yeah. There's conditions on it. The one thing, like, I think the thing for me, like, I would always come back to, like, look, I'm still a realtor. I could still list your house the normal way. Like, it doesn't stop any of that. It got me in the door, and now I can still use these different programs to help you sell the house and help take some risk away from you. things that we're going to do. We're going to buy the home warranty for the buyer. All these different things we're going to do. Again, it's like above and beyond what most agents are doing, or at least explaining to them that they're going to do. And so, you end up getting the listing, or you get the buyer to sign on because they've got this guarantee that they're probably not going to need to take advantage of. They're going to find the house they like, and they're not going to sell it in 18 months or 12 months, most likely. But I've got them there and I'm ready to help them with that if they need to. And how much more business did I pick up because I had something like that in place? And we were the only ones in town that do it. So again, ways to make yourself stand out amongst the 4,000 realtors in Colorado Springs. Things that you're offering. But I'm still a realtor and I can still do all the regular things that realtors do, which I do. But we have these added things that we're doing because it makes us stand out. Let me just say that, I started January 2002 is when I got licensed. June of 2002 is when I went to that first seminar. And it was within a month or two that I started that guaranteed sale program, and within 2.5 years, out of 4,000 agents here in town, I was in the top 20. And I'm telling you right now, the huge part of that was because of these kind of guarantees. Immediately, like here's these guys that have, I go in and I get the listing appointment. I'm the last one in. Hopefully that's how I tried to set it up. They've met with 4 other agents, and there's agents in town that have been in business 10, 20 years longer than me. And everybody in town knows who they are. And all of a sudden I come in and here's this new kid on the block that gets the listing. Like, what the heck are you doing? Well, it's like I'm setting myself apart from everybody else and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I've got these guarantees in place, which the seller loves and the buyer loves. It's a benefit to them and taking the risk away from them, as much as possible. And these other agents aren't doing that. And it doesn't matter what your reputation or your name is. They want to hire me. And that's what happened. In 2.5 years, I'm in the top 20 in town doing more deals. I had to start a team. It was more than I can handle. I did 72 deals my 3rd year by myself, and it was because of programs and things like this, and then marketing with those things, So this has all paid off for us in huge ways over the years. So go ahead, Aaron.
I was just going to share my screen here again. Yep. Are we got like 8 minutes?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Run a couple minutes over, we're fine, but we could always do a part 2 if we need to. So go ahead.
Again, this is in every one of my listing presentations. In the actual presentation, we call it our 1-day listing program. I said, who would want to sign with a broker for 6 months or 4 months or, whatever. And because most brokerages, agents, what they want to do is they want to sign you to, I'm planting negative seeds about everybody else, right? They want to sign you to this long-term agreement and then they want to beat you up over price over the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You two will hate each other after the end of 6 months if they haven't sold your house. You don't have to fear that with me. We want to make sure that that we're working every single day. So we have what we call our 1-day listing program, which is basically don't get locked into a long-term agreement. You can cancel anytime with no fee. So from the day you sign this to the day you either fire me or we get a contract on your house, we have to be proving ourselves, right? You can fire me at any point, no fee whatsoever. So this is an awesome one. I've taken, I don't know how many listings away from people because of this, because other brokerages may offer a free cancellation, but they don't talk about it, right? They want to sign them to a 4-month agreement or a 6-month agreement. And then there's other parts in my presentation. We talk about buying listings. A lot of agents go out there and buy a listing, basically saying, oh, your home's worth 400,000 when it's worth 350. And then they're going to sign you into a long-term agreement and beat you up until they get you to 350 or less at that point. And you've spent all this money and time on market. I'm going to have our honest promises guarantee matched with this, right? So the next thing we talk about is service guarantee. So I'll run through these really fast, pretty simple. These are the things I pull out if they don't agree to use me after all the other stuff that we've already done. I pull out service guarantees. We have 6 of them. So the first one's a communication guarantee. Now, all of you guys probably do this stuff. You would be pretty bad if you didn't update them every week on their home or return a phone call within 24 hours. The reason I have 24 hours there is because I usually am within, an hour or 2, but if I'm on a plane or I'm traveling or something like that and something just gets lost, I know for sure I can get back to them in 1 business day every single time. If I do that, I'm going to give them $100 cash every time I fail to do it. Now, this is again, not cash, and we have to disclose that to them. We can't give a seller cash. We have to give it back to them in the form of closing costs or commission reduction. So same thing here. We have our honest promises guarantee. We're not going to promise you the moon and stars to get your business. We'll tell you exactly what we can do, how we operate, as well as what we do not do up front in clear language, right? So if we fail to honor that agreement, we'll give you $500 off your commission. Reality-based selling price range. Basically, we're going to set a range from X to Y, and we're going to tell you exactly where your home will sell in that range. If we miss it, for every $5,000 we sell your home for less than that, we'll pay you $200 cash up to $1,000. Again, I would gladly trade $1,000 to keep a listing and keep that income versus losing it, right? Reality-based timetable, sell within a reasonable time. We set the target range depending on the market. So this says 90 days. We've changed this recently. It was like, 15 days, and now it's moved back to like 45 days, things like that. Honest presentation of experience and track record. This is a big one. Oh, I paint doubt. I plant seeds of doubt about everybody else they've already talked about and what they actually do and who they actually are. I'm not saying terrible things about a particular agent, but I am going to plant those seeds, right? So one of the seeds I plant is everything I'm showing you, talking about, we actually do. All of our marketing, you can look it up. We'll send you copies and examples of everything we do. If you find that any statement that I've made to you is not factual or false, we'll give $5,000 to the charity of your choice. And we will do this if they fire us or not, right? So have I ever had to do this? No, because I'm honest and truthful. But there's too many agents out there that are number one. Back when the real estate books were a thing, you'd turn the page and every page the agent said they're number one. How many number ones can there possibly be, right? And we say this to our clients too. So they're telling you that they're number one. Do they actually show you they're number one? If they show you, that's a different story, right? So we do that. And then we have our qualified buyer's guarantee, whereby everybody that sees your home will be a qualified buyer no matter what. Whether they show with me or another agency, we use showing time here, so we can put a stipulation in there that they have to submit a pre-qual letter before we'll allow a showing. Sometimes we get a little lax with that. Sometimes we don't. If we get somebody that does say they can't afford the home or they terminate based on financing, we will pay $500 when the home actually does close. So these are important things that, again, help set us apart. 6 really strong things. We also use this in our pre-listing package. So it's packaged like this. So before we go out for a listing, they get a package of information from us. This is one of the first things that's on the very top. So if I need to pull these out, they've already read them, hopefully, or seen them. And it's just reaffirming who we are and what we do. And then this is kind of goes along with that. That basically says our initial agreed upon price is $400,000, let's say. Our second agreed upon price at the 21-day mark is $385,000. We do that right up front. This is an exhibit to our listing agreement. So we get a price reduction on every one of our listings right when we list the house. We don't have to call on the 21st day and say, hey, I think it's time to make an adjustment. You don't have a contract yet? It's time to make an adjustment. So we're going to do that up front. And then we tell them what the price range is where we think they should land, 385 to 400, whatever that number is. And we all sign it, and everybody knows exactly where everyone stands in the listing agreement. So I think that's extremely important, because again, a lot of people in this process, they'll promise the moon and stars, oh, your home's worth 500,000, knowing dang well it's only worth 4, right? And then you've got this adversarial match the whole time, and there's no way out and things like that. Again, those are seeds of doubt we want to plant in the seller's mind.
And guys, right here, like I use the same thing I have. So it's,
Mine's much better.
Huh? Yours does look better. It looks more perfect. See, but here's what I want to point out down here, guys, is at the very bottom of this. Let me go back here, and I got to move this. Like at the bottom of here, maximum brokerage contributions not to exceed $1,000. Any and all contributions only paid upon closing. So again, I'm not writing them checks, if I mess up on one of these kind of things. And it's just, even this is $100, the communication thing, $500, honest promises, exactly what Aaron just said right there. But the most is $1,000, other than that $5,000, that I'll give to a charity of their choice, whatever. If they find out anything that I've said is not true, same thing, same as Aaron. Be honest, be upfront. There are a lot of number ones out there. There can only be one. Be upfront and honest with all of your marketing and stuff, and you'll never have to answer that. That's why I could put 10,000 on there and feel comfortable with that. They're not going to find anything, But again, all these other things on here, the max is 1,000. Again, it's your program. You set the rules, but again, it's ways to make yourself stand out in that crowd when they're interviewing 5 agents and you're one of them. Why should they pick you? Why should a buyer hire you? There's different things that you can do like this that will, really, get you more business when it's all said and done. So any questions, any thoughts, any comments? Is this helpful? I think this kind of piggybacks again off of what Lee did several weeks ago. And if you haven't watched that, I would tell you go back and watch it. If you're not part of EXP, let us know. We can certainly send you the recording of that, but all the recordings are available. This will be uploaded on the Freedom Team Workplace group here within the hour as well. But just things that you can think through, get you thinking outside the box a little bit is the goal here. You don't have to do any of these. You might implement one little thing at a time and just start building on some of these, but it can really make you stand out. Any comments or questions or concerns or issues? Does that make sense to people?
Great stuff, guys.
Rick, was that helpful, Rick?
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, very
You
cool.
can't use it against me now, Rick.
Well,
I'll give it.
Lots to go around. 60,000 agents down there. I think two of you could be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Lots to go around. So, guys, thank you again for being on. We'll be back, of course, next Tuesday with more. We're going to be talking about buy downs and really breaking that down, how that works. That's a big thing right now. So that'll be next Tuesday. Again, you're open to invite agents to this. Agents from all companies are always welcome. Provide value. We're all in this thing together here. So, Aaron, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you putting all this together. Sing something for us, man. Come on, you got that voice going.
Sound like Kermit the Frog.
Good deal. Guys, have a great week. Call us, reach out to us if we can help you in any way. Any questions, concerns at all, we're here to help you. Okay? Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Yep.